back.
Sorry, that was so awkward.
You know what I almost did? I almost said, hey, guys. And I don't know why. I always say, hey, everybody.
Yeah, you should have said, hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to our podcast.
Hope you find you did.
Welcome back to the place where we go to get away from all the things that have a point. It's another episode of The Man Shreks. I'm JJ.
And I'm Sarah.
Ooh, I almost caught you in the middle of a yawn.
I'm sorry.
I was trying.
Whew. Yeah, that was...
Oh, man, we're back and we're ready to do some more damage. Are you ready? I almost said, are you ready for the theme song? But that's silly. We don't have a theme song.
Am I ready for the theme song?
We do have new music now. We chose it last
right,
week,
we did.
So that's going to be
right.
good.
That's true.
No, but are you ready to approach the news?
I am ready.
All right, what do you got?
Neurosurgeon investigating patient's mystery symptoms plucks a worm from the woman's brain in Australia.
What?
Yeah. So apparently there was this woman who was having some strange symptoms, and a surgeon by the name of Hari Priya Bandi was performing a biopsy through a hole in a 64-year-old woman's skull when she used forceps to pull out an 8 centimeter, about 3-inch long
oh my gosh, that's
worm.
Huge. That's
so they were doing a scan. They were doing this biopsy, and they saw something that showed up in it. They couldn't figure out what it was. It didn't make any sense, but they saw that it was alive and moving. So she went in and pulled out this worm. It says it moved with vigor. We all felt sick.
Oh, I would. That's disgusting. Was it just, what kind of worm? What?
So the creature is the larva of an Australian native roundworm, not a human parasite, typically found in carpet pythons, which apparently are common in this area where this woman lives.
What is a carpet python?
It says
it's a snake, right?
It's a snake. It says the woman had been experiencing strange symptoms. A year earlier, she had been admitted to her local hospital in New South Wales with symptoms such as abdominal pain, diarrhea, a dry cough, and night sweats. And then more recently, she had been admitted to the hospital for experiencing forgetfulness and worsening depression over 3 months. And when they did a scan of her brain, it showed that there had been changes.
Wow.
So they were trying to treat this patient. She had been treated multiple times, but this time it was still showing that nothing was helping. We thought we were treating an immunological condition because we hadn't been able to find out what the problem was, and they hadn't seen the parasite. But then when they did a scan of the frontal part of her brain, they saw this lump. So they did the biopsy, pulled out this wriggling worm, and the surgeon says everyone was absolutely stunned.
How does it even get in there? There's not a lot of access points for the brain. Wow.
It just says her patient regained consciousness after the worm was extracted without any negative consequences. She's grateful to have an answer that had been causing her trouble for so long. It said 6 months symptoms have improved, but some have persisted. And she hasn't returned to the hospital since. She's done okay. But because it was a strange infection, they're expecting maybe some lingering symptoms. It says the worm eggs are commonly shed in snake droppings, which contaminate grass eaten by small mammals. So then it just continues its life cycle as snakes eat the mammals. So it primarily lives in these carpet pythons, these snakes. However, this woman lives near a habitat where carpet pythons are found, and she often forages for native vegetation to cook with, which is how it possibly made it into her body.
That's really gross.
She had no direct contact with the snakes, but because she consumed vegetation, it could have been contaminated with the eggs.
Wow. That's insane.
It's disgusting.
Well, it is that. Ugh.
I can't imagine. It was just this sentence. Everyone in the operating room felt sick.
Well, yeah. I mean,
rightfully so.
Boy,
yeah.
And if that thing was living in her brain for 6
for
however
probably
much,
about a year, possibly.
Who knows what kind of secretions and
right, and that's why it's possible that it was causing neurological damage because it was affecting her. Oh
my gosh, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, so don't go foraging near where carpet pythons are.
I'm good to just not forage ever. Nope. I'm going to go to a grocery store. Everything's wrapped in saran wrap.
Let's talk about that. No, let's not go down that. I'm not going to go down that. Get on my soapbox platform.
A Nebraska man was pulled over with a bull riding shotgun.
I saw the story, but I didn't read it.
It was.
The bull is huge.
Yeah. It's, the cop says, we never dealt with anything quite like that before. It's like I don't even know. How do you describe this?
Like a longhorn cattle.
Yep. It's a longhorn cattle. Norfolk police captain Chad Riemann said it didn't take long for officers to track down the modified Ford Crown Victoria sedan with a bull riding shotgun after a 911 call about it driving on the main highway entering the city of roughly 24,000 people Wednesday morning. We didn't have a full understanding of it until we saw it.
Oh my gosh. It's
Can
ridiculous.
you imagine
No,
what that
I can't.
911 call must have been like? The car that Lee Meyer had driven in parades and across the area for years has half the windshield and roof removed to make room for his bull, whose name is Howdy Doody. It's a real bull, like a living bull, is riding shotgun like a dog hanging its head out of the window. The yellow metal cattle gate serves as the passenger side door, allowing for the Watsui bull to be tied up, and a set of longhorns serves as a good hood ornament.
Why would you do that, though, with a live bull?
I won't go far without being noticed for sure, he said. A video of the traffic stop shot by Channel News Nebraska spread quickly online. I mean, it really is insane. This thing is huge, and also the horns are
massive.
They are. It's terrifying. Mm-hmm. Like a sign on the side of his car from a parade in Burwell last month declared that Howdy Doody's eye-catching ride was judged the best car entry in Nebraska's big rodeo parade.
So it's
like a parade float, but he's driving it around.
Permanent parade float that he just drives around town.
It isn't clear why he decided to load the bull into his car on Wednesday and drive 36 miles from his home to Norfolk. He said Meyer wasn't headed to a parade or Wednesday, didn't answer his home phone Thursday morning, so he couldn't be reached immediately for an explanation. But his wife Rhonda told Norfolk radio station that shot video of the traffic stop that Howdy Doody has been Meyer's friend and buddy ever since he got him 8 or 9 years ago. So this
I
bull,
never drive anywhere without my bull.
You know, it's like man's best friend, except it's a bull instead of a dog, right? And you know, dogs love to go for a ride.
Are they harder for news stories in Nebraska? Because this seems...
It's just amazing. It is a very weird sight. Like the whole
oh my
thing.
gosh.
I assumed it was fake when I first saw the picture. I was like, oh, he's got like a, like one of those riding bulls or something, like something plastic strapped into his car. But it's his actual bull. Rhonda Meyer told the people... Boston.com US 92 that Lee thinks he's a movie star after the video of his traffic stop went viral, but he's also a little shy. So the guy who did this, he thought it was really funny. He's like, wow, look, there's video of me, but he doesn't want to talk to anybody about it.
But a little bit he really wanted attention by doing this whole thing. So
Howdy Doody is like a member of the family now, but she wasn't always wild about how much her husband spent on the bull over the years. The amount of money that he's spent on this whole darn project between the car and the bull, I could have had a brand new kitchen, Rhonda Meyer said.
But I'm not bitter about it.
Sounds a little bitter about it.
She got a freezer full of meat, too. Never mind that.
We've never dealt with anything quite like that before.
Wow.
They said that there were clearly some traffic violations related to his car, but the officer let him off with a warning as long as he turned around and took Howdy Doody home.
I can't imagine being the cop in that traffic stop.
I'd be terrified to like approach the car. It's like if I take that thing off.
Excuse me, sir, is this real?
I'm a little shocked that the suspension on that car can handle like the weight of a bull. I don't know much about bulls, but aren't they like
the size of that thing in that picture? Thousands of pounds. Yeah, right? I got to imagine. Probably very heavy.
Yeah, he probably had to like reinforce the suspension. Got to cut up the car.
Hold on, let me talk to my car guy. See if it can support the weight of a bull. That's just ridiculous. All right, so my next story is a little shorter, but kind of ironic. So a Chicago TV news crew is robbed at gunpoint while reporting on a string of robberies. This is so Chicago. I feel sad because...
Chicago.
So apparently it was Univision's Chicago reporting.
Is that like a news...
It's the Spanish news
language. Okay.
It's a Spanish language station in Chicago, Univision Chicago. They have them all over the place, but this was Univision Chicago. It said a reporter and photographer were filming just before 5 a.m. on Monday in the West Town neighborhood when 3 masked men brandishing firearms robbed them, taking their television camera and other items.
And the report that they were trying to create
But apparently this is not the first time it's happened for other news crews.
Oh no.
So it's apparently this has been a problem lately in Chicago.
People
reporting have been robbed at gunpoint.
What?
So it says these people were approached with guns and robbed. Mainly it was personal items, and they did take a camera. What someone told the Chicago Tribune, it said the news crew was filming a story about robberies in the Westtown community, and it was supposed to run in the morning news, but because the footage was taken, the story never made the air. Instead, this story made it. So the police identified the victims as a 28-year-old man and a 42-year-old man. The pair was outside when the three men drove up in a gray sedan and robbed the crew and then fled in their vehicles. No injuries were reported and no one's in custody.
Oh my!
They're not disclosing the names of the people to protect their privacy. They're okay, but we're working on it as a team. Apparently, this is the second robbery this month involving a Chicago news crew after another photographer was assaulted and robbed on August 8 while preparing to cover a weekday afternoon news conference on the West Side.
Wow. I knew that Chicago had, like, when we lived there, there was the nice areas and the not as nice areas. South Side Chicago had a really bad reputation. It was very dangerous. You know, there were certain areas you didn't go. But I've heard since we've moved away that, like,
it's starting to worsen.
It sounds like it's just, well, and that's what I've heard about most major cities.
A lot of cities,
since the pandemic.
I've heard that too.
And the economic squeeze or whatever, a lot of cities are seeing spikes in crime and stuff.
Yeah. It says that apparently there have been growing safety threats to those who cover the news. Photographers and reporters in our city are being kept up to date on and informed on making sure that safety comes first, because apparently this is recurring incidents.
Wow.
A series of incidents. So apparently some news stations are planning to make additional safety steps by assigning security to TV crews.
Oh my gosh, this is the world we live in now. I can't. Man, that's crazy.
I just can't. Yeah.
The news. I mean, it's a little funny. And nobody got hurt.
No one was hurt.
That's why I'm okay with laughing
And it
at
doesn't sound like it was anything like terrifyingly sad or intense, but I just thought it was so ironic when I saw that news title of Chicago news crew robbed while reporting on a string of robberies.
If I was them, I'd be like, okay, you can have my camera. Can you stick my thumb drive in there and leave me a copy of this?
I just want to report this. And actually, can we report you robbing me too? Because I just want even more.
Just real quick.
Can I get your picture?
Put a mask on. I won't try to catch you.
They were already wearing ski masks.
Oh
so.
My gosh.
But I found that to be.
Didn't we have a news story about wasn't there like a mayor or something, he got robbed while someone stole his bike or something?
It was, someone stole his bike while he was giving a speech on...
That's right. It was a politician on the campaign trail.
Yep.
It's just ironic. The irony that makes it funny. As long as nobody's getting hurt.
Right, right.
Obviously, crime is not super funny unless nobody gets hurt, and it is really funny.
Like they were robbed at gunpoint, but no one's actually shot and no one was harmed.
Right. No, not cool.
Everyone walked away from the situation.
Right.
Just feeling frustrated that they lost their footage because they couldn't run that story then.
How do you even explain that to your boss? I got to imagine, though, that like news crews cameras, those are probably easy to track down. Like serial numbers. I bet they're very specific cameras that only, you know what I mean? Like a news camera thing is going to be hooked to some kind of internet, some kind of Bluetooth, some kind of connection, right? Because they probably have these wireless connections to the studio or whatever. That should be easy to find and track down.
It seems like the primary goal though was like personal items, like give me all your money, give me all your personal belongings that could be worth something, and I guess we'll take this camera too.
Oh my God.
It's just two guys reporting, like they're by themselves, like a reporter and his cameraman, like.
Oh man, that's such a bummer though.
It is a bummer.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I have done like in the church, we've done a couple of news stories where they'll send a person out because the church is doing something in the community or whatever, and sometimes it's cameraman and camera person, like whether it's a reporter, male, female, whatever. But sometimes it's just the reporter. Like reporters know how to set up their own stuff. Sometimes they just set up the tripod and they aim it at whatever they want and they just go. Yeah, that's probably pretty vulnerable.
An easy target, I'm sure.
Like just one or two people.
Especially if they're reporting.
And they're out in public paying attention to other stuff.
Yeah. I just found that to be frustrating for them, but
if I was a
ironic.
thief, I would have taken the camera so that the camera so there wouldn't be any footage, and then you just wipe it and throw it in the
sure
garbage.
That's what they did. I'm sure they weren't looking to hawk it for money or parts. They were just getting rid of the evidence of themselves.
Oh man. That's awesome.
Anyways, what's your second story?
Scientists finally know why Germany's wild boar are surprisingly radioactive.
What?
Wild boars in Bavaria are radioactive.
What? Okay, why?
Because Chernobyl is nearby.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Radioactive wild boars.
Radioactive
horrifying.
wild boars. In April 26, 1986, the infamous explosion at a Chernobyl nuclear power plant unleashed large amounts of radiation into the atmosphere, an event that contaminated wildlife across country lines, WashingtonPost.com reports. The radiation level seen in the animals as a result has decreased in recent years, with the exception of one animal, the wild boar.
Ugh.
So for the years, scientists have questioned why the levels have remained surprisingly high in the wild boars who root around in Germany and Austria, while decreasing in other things like deer and roe deer. First off, just like put to the side the realization that there are countries in the world that have to check their food for radiation because of stuff like that. That would never have occurred to me. Like, you know, you get meat from a farm or whatever, and it's like, well, is it grass-fed? Is it organic? What kind of chemicals are in it? Oh, and is it radioactive?
I mean, think about it. We live near the Dow chemical plant. They
It's true.
highly encourage
It's
not
true.
eating fish from the Tittabawassee for that reason.
Yep. Yeah,
So that's
well,
horrifying. Like, of course, if you're consuming something that could be, you know, living off the land and whatever's been depleted / whatever's been injected into the land, you know, all the awful
gosh.
things that we've done. It actually makes a lot of sense. I would never think of
I had no idea.
consuming wild boar from Bavaria.
Right? My mind
So.
was blown when I realized how relevant this source of radioactive contamination in general still is, said George Steinhauser, which is such a great name.
So great.
A radiochemist at TU Wine and author of a new study. He said that people might not think that after 60 years after a nuclear weapons explosion, wild boar populations would still be contaminated with radiation levels well above the regulatory food limits. What is the regulatory food limit for radioactive material?
I hope that it's 0.
Yeah, that's how much I'm comfortable with.
I'm not comfortable consuming anything with any even trace amounts of radiation.
Oh my gosh. All right. So radioactive cesium results from both nuclear weapons explosion and nuclear energy production. But analyzing the ratio of these amounts, researchers can pinpoint the source of the radiation.
Wow.
So they had like 50 collected meat samples. They found 88% of the samples. 88% of the samples were above Germany's regulatory limits for radioactive cesium in food.
That's disgusting.
Well, almost 90% of the boars are way too much. Apparently, the biggest thing is that the radioactive whatever got into the soil, and it's the mushrooms that the boars eat that's really causing that. Steinhauser said the wild boars probably ingested the cesium from contaminated deer truffle mushrooms, which they dig up and eat during the winter when corn and acorns on the ground are scarce. Cesium seeps into the soil and is absorbed by the mushrooms as if it was a nutrient, so that explains why observations show radioactivity levels in the wild boar are higher in the winter. Interestingly, deer do not like deer truffles, despite the name.
Huh.
They don't eat the mushrooms.
And well, good thing they don't, because apparently they'd be radioactive too.
Yes. The mushrooms appear to have fully absorbed the source from the nuclear weapons testing so far. Cesium seeps very slowly through the soil, sometimes only 1 millimeter per year. Deer truffles located between 20 and 40 centimeters have already absorbed older cesium from 6 decades ago. The younger cesium from Chernobyl likely not fully integrated, or is not just now integrating into the soil at the depths where the mushrooms are located. So they basically, at the end of the story is basically like, yeah, it's a problem for boar eaters, but apparently even if it's got high levels of radioactivity, you have to eat an enormous amount of the stuff for it to affect you. It's not a big deal. I still am not going to eat any.
I won't be eating any boar liver.
Well, and
Gross.
they would have to eat quote unquote insane amounts of the animal to show meaningful amounts of radioactive material. Plus, wild boar available through stores and official channels in Germany is tested and regulated. So the regulations are there on purpose and they're doing their thing. I would not buy.
I won't go wild boar hunting.
No,
in
you know,
Bavaria.
don't do the you know, like in Michigan we get some deer. Don't do it. Don't do it with the boars.
Whew. That's weird and so obscure. I would never guess that.
I just the headline caught my eye.
Yeah.
Radioactive Boars in Bavaria, which just cracked me up. I can't believe.
That is pretty crazy.
I just, honestly, America, despite being the only country in the world to have violently used these weapons against other people,
We haven't been affected by
we haven't been affected at all. What did we do? We did it in the middle of the desert where nobody goes. That's where they keep the aliens, Like there's no...
That's why the aliens are there. They're not actually aliens. They're just radioactive.
They're just radioactive boars.
Jackalope.
I like it. All right. Hey, are you ready for Sponsor Your Life?
I think so.
All right. What do you got?
All right. So this past week, we went to down to Sandusky with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Took a little family vacation to Great Wolf Lodge.
So fun.
That was fun.
Second annual Man Trek trip.
It's true. This is the second time we've gone. Went around the same time last year, end of August. Did a little last hurrah of summertime, and it was fun. We had a good time. We, went to the water park, played hard. Boys had so much fun, exhausted.
Oh my gosh, they did though.
And that was fun. We had a good time. I think that was sponsoring my life.
Definitely.
This past week. So.
This is a good one. Mine is just terrible, and it's so basic, and I'm trying to think of what's the word. Mainstream, I guess. It's I have just been really enjoying the wave of pumpkin spice things that are in the world. It's so
you
good.
would choose that.
Oh, pumpkin spice cold brews and pumpkin spice flavored hot coffee and pumpkin spice lattes.
You got some pumpkin spice donuts the other day.
I did. Oh man, so Dunkin' Donuts has a pumpkin spice donut, and they have the pumpkin coffee. Then there's obviously Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes, and then Big B's got all their pumpkin spice stuff and the cold brews, and I don't know.
Nobody would know, but JJ is actually the seasonal beverage.
I am.
Guru.
I love them all. I'm super on board. I'm not quite ready for the apple cider stuff yet. I feel like it's wrong.
Yeah, I gotta wait till. I mean, technically we're going apple picking in 2 weeks with my family.
Yeah, but
3 weeks with my family.
2 weeks I'll probably be feeling that.
But yeah, I'm just not quite to the apple cider stuff yet. I'm not even really to the pumpkin spice. I guess I'm kind of feeling.
I do feel
maybe
like
it's because it was 89 today and it's supposed to be in the 90s this week. So I'm just super it's still summertime. I don't need pumpkin yet. But I could get excited about, making pumpkin bread and pumpkin oatmeal and pumpkin muffins and all that.
I love it all.
So.
I think it is too early. It is too early, but I like it so much that I don't mind. It's all right,
everybody's September 1st is the beginning. So
see, and I just read a thing. It's the actual start of fall is
22nd.
Yeah, way at the end of September. What are we doing?
And we know this. It's just technically summer doesn't begin until the 21st or 22nd of June. So
it's true. Yeah,
but we all see Memorial Day as the ushering in
Mother's
of summer.
Day. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
But we push every season. I mean, you'd be surprised. Hobby Lobby already has their Christmas stuff out. It's insane. So, yeah.
Yeah. And everything gets pushed up, but it's too early. And yet, I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it. And
enjoy it.
Delicious, and it sponsored my life.
If you start listening to Christmas music now, though, I will judge you.
I'm not the one who starts the Christmas music too early.
I didn't last year either. It was,
I always say wait till after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's my usual rule for Christmas.
Yeah.
Let each season have its season. Maybe I'm just it's been hot summer, and we live now in a house with no AC. I'm excited for fall.
I am. I'm looking forward to
one of my
temperatures.
favorite seasons. I honestly, by the time each season comes around, I'm excited for it.
The next season.
You know what I mean? When we get into winter, I'm winter. And then by the time it's all right, I'm ready for spring. And then it's all right, I'm ready for summer. And I'm just ready for each season by the time it gets around.
I get it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's jump into our games.
Okay.
I have 2 different games. These are more homemade. We've been playing real games, 5-second rule or whatever.
Okay.
This one's a homemade game. Okay, I have 2. One I gave you no warning about, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
And the other one we've talked about. And so I don't have a clever name for it. I wish I had a clever name for
That's
it.
That's
Okay.
okay.
So it started with somebody on Threads who posts, if you don't know, that's the social media that's going to replace Twitter someday.
I never use either,
Yeah,
so
you don't
I
care.
do not care.
But Threads is, there was somebody on Threads who said that they had gone to a party and somebody asked them, which are you? It's kind of an icebreaker type game. And they said, I think it's a fascinating question and I want to ask all of you. So there's this big conversation going on about, are you a chaos Muppet or an order Muppet? The chaos Muppets are like Ernie or Cookie Monster. And the order Muppets are like Bert and Kermit. And we're jumping between, the Muppets and the Sesame Street.
I mean, yeah, they're all Jim Henson.
But there's,
created Muppets.
there's your chaos guys, right? Like Ernie. And your order guys like Bert. Your chaos like Cookie Monster, or your order like Kermit. So I mean,
I'm pretty type A, so it's very clear that I am an order Muppet.
You're an order Muppet. You really are. I honestly struggled, though, because I don't feel like I'm enough fun to be a chaos Muppet. Am I a chaos Muppet?
Nah.
But I'm not really a good order Muppet. I feel like I'm an, how do I say it? I'm an order Muppet in my brain, stuck in a chaos Muppet's body.
I don't know. I think you're closer to order than chaos.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So then the game is we have to put each of the Muppets in a category. Are they a chaos Muppet or are they an order Muppet?
Okay.
All right, Miss Piggy.
She's an order Muppet.
Really?
Yeah.
I think she's chaos. She's so like...
She's bumbling, but she's way more order than like Animal is.
That's true. Animal is on the list. So Animal is a chaos Muppet
for sure.
What about Gonzo?
He's a chaos Muppet.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
What about Rizzo?
Rizzo's an order Muppet for sure. He always tries to keep Gonzo in line.
See, I would have switched that.
I think Rizzo gets into trouble because of what Gonzo's doing. Rizzo doesn't get into trouble because of his own accord. It's usually because of Gonzo.
I would say in all of them except for Muppet Christmas Carol. Because don't you think in Muppet Christmas Carol, Gonzo is the more responsible one and Rizzo's the one messing around?
We're expected to believe that. I would debate that, but that's another discussion for another time.
All right, what about...
I take my Muppets very seriously, and I really like Muppet Christmas Carol, so I
like it too. I just think in that movie, Rizzo's the crazy one. He's the one doing goofy stuff.
Possibly.
Or constantly falling off of. What about Beaker? Is he chaos or order?
He is a victim of his circumstances. I think Dr. Bunsen Honeydew is a little too big for his britches, but I don't know. I guess Beaker would be considered a chaos Muppet, but
he's more like Bert getting the tail end of Ernie's shenanigans, right? So he may be actually the order Muppet, and Honeydew, is that his name?
Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
Bunsen, yep. He's the chaos agent.
Yeah.
Even though he's supposed to be the order one.
I know.
Okay.
He's the
I
catalyst.
see that dynamic with Gonzo and Rizzo now. I see where you were coming from.
That's what I mean.
All right, what about Scooter? Is that little guy with the red hair?
Yeah. He's basically Ernie with glasses and red hair. I would say he's more order.
Yeah, I think so. That makes sense.
I think so.
All right, Michael Caine. Oh, wait.
Michael Caine. He doesn't have time for anyone's shenanigans.
Oscar the Grouch, chaos or order?
Order.
Yeah?
He just wants to sit in his trash can and enjoy life without everyone being crazy and bugging him.
It's true. I think for some reason...
Aside from the grumpiness, I actually can really relate to Oscar the Grouch. Just...
what do you mean aside from the grump?
Thanks. My playful love of Muppet characters would,
It's true. You are more fun. How about Big Bird? Chaos or order?
Order, for sure.
Yeah, he's totally order. What about Elmo?
Chaos.
Yeah, Elmo's a chaos agent. Yep. How about Grover?
I think Grover kind of like Gonzo.
Yes, but I think he's a little more chaos. I think of him
that's what I mean. I think he's probably airs more on the level of Elmo than... Yeah, so I guess maybe chaos.
I think of him as like a very high anxiety order person who causes chaos trying to avoid anxiety.
You've given this way too much thought. You've been playing this game by yourself, haven't you? People, they've been really funny coming through all these different things. So anyways, that popped up on my feed, cool. And I thought that was super funny. We'll call that Twitter Times because it came from Twitter, but I put it on Threads because that's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so now it's time for a brand new game, which really is just an adaptation of an older game that we played. This is Explain a Bible Story Badly. For those of you who have ever been on the internet, you've probably seen the Explain a Film Plot Badly game, where you describe something in a way that sounds like you're describing something totally different. And there's tons of different examples of this, but they explain the film plot badly. You take a known story and then you twist it up. And so somebody flipped it and said, okay, well, what if we said explain a Bible story badly? Okay. This is similar to when we did Florida Man Bible stories, where we took Bible stories and turned them into Florida Man.
I think we did that with my buddy David Carlson.
I think you're right.
Yeah, when he was a guest host with us. So, for example, guy gets a haircut so bad that he dies.
Oh, Samson.
That's Samson, right? So, Sarah has not seen any of these. I have seen a bunch of them. I put it out on all the socials and people responded. And so we're going to kind of click through these and stuff. And I think this will be fun. Professors get really into astronomy, start visiting local barns.
Oh, professors get really into us. Oh, the three magi.
Wise men. Yep. They were educated rather than royalty.
Yeah, royalty. Yeah. I see it.
Bald guy hates being made fun of.
This is Elijah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we just talked about that story the other day. So
there's a bunch. Actually, some of these are repeats, of people who came up with different versions. This one, the plot is that one time 40 guys couldn't start the barbecue, so the old guy does it, and then he kills everyone else.
That's Elijah too.
It is.
On Mount Carmel.
He's pretty good. Nudist couple eats questionable fruit, dooms the human race.
Oh, Adam and Eve. Nudist couple.
I said it's also probably the plot of Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah. I don't
She
have
never wears clothes in the beginning of those movies. Anyways, guy finds it easier to raise an audience member back from the dead than get to the point a little bit quicker.
Jesus and Lazarus.
Oh, I was thinking it was Paul with the guy who falls out the window.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he falls asleep.
That's true, though. Jesus did raise the guy. A guy has a dream. No one's ever able to interpret it. I think you could argue that was a couple of them.
I was going to say there are several stories about dreams that people...
My guess is the book of Revelation, I think is what they're aiming at. Right?
Because most of the time the dreams are discernible.
Except for that last one, right?
Yeah.
Man takes dictation, but ruins it and has to start over again.
Oh, is that the Ten Commandments?
10 Commandments. Oh, yeah. 3 guys get roasted rather than pray to another god, but they still come out undercooked.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I like that. That's clever.
Local man struggles to keep zoo afloat during global disaster.
Oh, Noah.
Some dudes throw a baby shower.
Was that the 3 Magi
I think
again?
so, yeah.
That's funny. Some dudes throw a baby shower. I like that.
Guy would rather drown than evangelize.
That's Jonah.
That's Jonah. Oh, I don't know what this one is. Top-selling healthy bread maker counts on people not knowing the Bible.
Top-selling healthy bread maker. Counts on people not knowing the Bible? Bread maker.
I don't know. I'm assuming it's like making leavened bread. Is there a story of like a guy who... Yeah, I don't know.
There's a story of the widow or the woman who she's trying to make... Is that Elijah or...
Yeah.
Elijah, and she doesn't run out because...
Yeah.
Boy, this is telling of my Bible knowledge. I need to go back and read the Old Testament.
Or it's too tricky of a clue. That's always possible. A runaway throws a tantrum and tells God, "I told you so," causing his plant to die.
Oh, Jonah again.
Okay, so a couple of... There were 2 or 3 different people who were using slang that I barely was able to decipher.
Okay.
This one says, boys jealous of their brother's drip inadvertently saved the world.
Drip? The heck?
Yeah, I think it means like...
Joseph's coat of beautiful colors?
Yep. Jealous of the brother's drip. I'm not going to pretend like I know what drip is. Hitman turned pastor slays in his latest sermon series.
That's Paul?
Yeah, that's Paul and the kid falling out the window.
Oh my gosh, slays.
Hitman turned pastor. Angel brings snacks and makes a prophet take 2 naps before God talks to him in a tiny voice.
It's Elijah
That's
again.
a lot. He's like rife in there.
He's got a lot of fodder for...
Palestinian teenager topples occupying regime by throwing rocks.
Oh, it's David and Goliath.
David and Goliath.
That's cute.
Shoes outlast adult migrants in a 40-year endurance march. Only the kids survive.
Oh, it's the Israelites wanting on the desert.
Yeah. Some dude puts on the best Jailhouse Rock cover of all time.
The best Jailhouse Rock. Oh, Paul in prison? Oh,
I was thinking, what's the one where they knock down the walls?
Jericho?
Yeah, Jericho. Maybe?
Oh, maybe.
Burly hairy man eats locusts and shout good news, gets bad news when local king beheads him at daughter's request.
Oh, that's John the Baptist.
Sure is. Here's another one. Favorite son brags to his brother about ruling them, leads to families becoming slaves.
Well, that's Joseph.
A woman fails to learn how to fly.
Wendy in Neverland?
Yep, that's
A
it.
woman fails to learn how to fly. Is that Jezebel getting thrown out the window
Yep.
at the dogs?
Yep. Spiked war criminal wishes he'd been lactose intolerant.
Spiked war criminal wishes he'd been lactose. Oh, is that the story of JL?
JL and the commander. Group of men go on a quest. Eventually have to stop and ask for directions.
Group of men go on a quest. It's not the three magi.
I don't know. Yes. Oh, yes, of course. That's totally. Wait, I don't know.
Is it? No, that doesn't make any sense.
A group of men.
There's a lot of stories of people traveling in the desert.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
In the Bible.
Family goes on a long fishing trip. Can't use the only two bait they brought.
Family goes on a long fishing trip. It's just like the disciples?
No. It's only two bait they brought.
Oh, it's Noah.
Yep.
Oh, boy. That's painful. But good. That's clever. I like that.
So this one is more like a rather than a tell the plot, it's like, so the fish says to his fish friends, "I'm not kidding. He dove right into my mouth, and then I hate Middle Eastern food, so I puked him up on the beach."
Middle Eastern. Who hates Middle Eastern food?
I know. Seriously.
That's Jonah again.
Family cruise gets interrupted by extreme rain, but wait 5 minutes and the weather will change, and who knows when they might see a rainbow.
Noah again.
That one comes from Sarah Covert. Let's see. Camping trip goes wrong. Local woman stakes husband to death at his own tent.
Ooh, yikes.
Wasn't her husband.
No,
but
it
yeah.
wasn't her husband.
Obnoxious man in a pit realized ticked off brothers can be nefarious.
Oh, Joseph.
Okay, this one. Bro gets fly new drip. Jealous fam yeets him into a hole. Sell him on eBay. No cap.
What? That's the story of Joseph, but that doesn't make any sense.
It took me so long to sit there and go, wait, what? It's like he's trying to speak to me. Kid throws rock and man dies.
Well, that's a sad news title. Good job, David.
Man dreams about bacon, makes new friends.
Man dreams about bacon. Something about pigs.
No, I remember the it's Peter on the roof, and he has the weird vision.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Although I thought it was mostly like seafood and shellfish and stuff. That's what my brain jumps to. But yeah, bacon's
No, it was has something to do with pigs.
But then I think the guy's name was Cornelius, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He couldn't hang out with them, and then he was allowed to hang out with them.
Yeah, wow, you're right. That is.
Asparagus goes fishing and gets more than he planned for.
VeggieTales?
VeggieTales. This is a joke in a different context, but it kind of works. I'm deleting all my dating apps and meeting someone the old-fashioned way by almost blowing up my arranged marriage in favor of having a kid with the Holy Spirit.
Whew, that's heavy. The birth of Jesus.
There you go. And I think we've already done this one. Old man gets mad at kids for calling him bald, sends 42 trained assassin bears after them.
It's Elijah.
Yeah. So I feel like there were like 7 stories that people just kept going to. But
I mean, there's some weird stories in the Bible. Like
what?
Yeah, I know. I know. There's some bizarre stuff.
And I feel like we should be allowed to say that, right? Like people are like, "Oh no, that's disrespectful." And it's like, no, it's not. The Bible.
Although I was like, our kids. Like Liam and Amos like study that action Bible, and it's pretty concise. Like it covers a lot of the Bible. So like there's a lot of stories that they don't skip, where some of them are like, that's kind of intense. It's designed for like kids like 10 and up, so technically they're a little young for it, but they're so fascinated by the pictures.
Well, yeah, that's why it's fun.
Liam wanted to play this Bible trivia game with me this morning.
Really?
At church, yeah. There was like some question cards, and some of the questions were kind of obscure, but I was kind of amazed how well he was able to answer the questions. Like it was like he answered it without even thinking. It was like, what was the answer to Samson's riddle, the riddle from the Bible? And he was like, oh, there was honey in the lion. And I went and then the other one was like, how many humans were on the ark? And he was like 8.
Whoa, really?
Not even joking. He was like, well, it was Noah and his wife, and then Noah had 3 sons, and they had 3 wives. And I was like,
man,
I don't think I would have gotten that correct if I had answered the question. But it was so, it's just he latches on to like really specific details from some of the stories, and it's like, yeah, the Bible has some strange stories in there.
See, and I feel like the tricky part, and I feel like what we kind of stop with knowledge of the stories.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like, how many Bible stories can you name, or can you reference, or can you know? But it's like, but what's the point of that story?
What's the point
what was the message? What did it teach you about God? What did it teach you about humans?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the level that I want to like. We still have to
start focusing
deeper,
on.
You know,
like facts are one thing. Yeah. But the information
being able to
is
quote
different.
scripture is not the same as understanding the heart of it. We'll get there. We'll get there. But anyways, that was fun. Explain a Bible story badly.
Very cool.
And all. And I do want to mention everything I read. None of those were mine, right? Like, well, no, the first 2 were mine, but then all the rest of them were like other people. So thank you for everybody for commenting, and there were like 40 of them or something. I mean, I just appreciated everybody.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Hey, everybody, thanks so much to
the people who make our new theme song.
The new theme song, Lemon something. I can't remember the name. Oh, I'm embarrassed. It was like Lemon Studio Band or something. Leva was the guy's name. Anyways, we like our new theme song and we're excited about it. Thanks so much to everybody for listening. The podcast has actually been growing. This last week we had more listens than we've had in a long time, and so
was it just you clicking?
It was just me, just downloading over and over. I just had nothing to do on vacation. Thought I'd listen to our podcast
sounds
over
about right.
and over. Are you ready to send us out with the mom joke of the week?
I am.
Give it to me.
So why do mushrooms get invited to all the parties?
I have no idea.
Because they're such fun guys.
It's painful. It's so painful.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Bye, everybody.
Bye.